Hello, hello.
Oh, hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How's it going?
Pretty good, buddy. Thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it.
No problem. Again, you did me a favor last year, so I'm happy to repay it. Cause yeah,
Yeah,
Rick.
for sure, for sure. I'll see if we can unless Rick's busy this year, if you wanna maybe we can try to get him in again this year. We can try.
Oh, actually, this year we were organized. We actually just bought it. We bought a spectator pass for him.
Oh, you're organized. Nice.
I know. Like, yeah, we got it the like a few days ago. So, because we weren't sure if he's gonna be able to get the day off, but yeah, we made it. We managed to like just kind of stay on top of things, so we're good. Don't
Oh,
worry
that's
about it.
awesome. Are you guys staying at the Sheraton or are you guys just staying at your place?
I mean, we live in Toronto, so we're just staying at our place.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. All right, fair enough.
Yeah, we're
Cool,
not
cool.
like it like especially with him because he has to like work and stuff. And he's a manager at his job at his position, so he's on
Huh.
call like on weekends sometimes. Um,
Oh, I see.
yeah, he needs to be near his like work computer and stuff, which is fine. It makes sense.
Yeah, that
Um,
makes sense. Yeah.
so let's talk. You said that you wanted specifically help with closing out stocks and securing
Yeah.
kills, so it makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah. So talk to me. What prompted you to like ask for that?
So I feel like that's something that's been holding me back for like a number of years is just my overall game plan doesn't really involve like
Killing them.
yeah, killing them. It more so involves like F tilt at like 60% to repeated edge guard until they're finally dead. Not really like a fox where they can like up smash the middle of the stage, you know what I mean? So I
Hmm.
want to know just like I just want to become a little more consistent at killing, and I want to become more consistent at just not depending so much on, I guess, edge guards. And I want to be able to get like I guess like the harder hitting hits where I don't necessarily have to like rinse and repeat. I can just hold the ledge and they die kind of thing. Like
Yeah, like so hitting like forward smashes, hitting beams, like
yeah.
things that like actually like kill the opponent upon
Uh,
connecting so that you're not just so beholden to like having to rinse and repeat. No, all of that makes
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, for sure. And it's a big issue versus Fox and Captain Falcon specifically. They don't die ever. So, like, it's not that much of a problem versus Sheik and Marth because their recoveries are like not as good. But when it comes to like Falco or Fox and Captain Falcon,
yeah,
they
they
just
have more
don't die.
yeah, they have
Yeah,
more
and I
options. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and I find myself losing sets where I will literally be up the whole set and then I'll drop like a crucial edge guard at like 120% and they'll come back at 20% and they'll just kill me. And that happens to me so often. So I want to be able to like reduce those situations. So from prior like thought of this, from prior analysis, I noticed that the faster Samuses don't really have this issue because they like to use a lot of the waveland stuff from the platforms and like to use specifically a lot of that waveland from platform back to their sweet spot. And that's something I don't do too often. And Swooper and F and Silver love to use it, and they kill people like in the middle of the stage at like 100 something, right? Because they'll hit
Mhm.
them with sweet spot back air. And I just want to learn how to set up more of those situations without giving away too much positioning and giving away too much neutral. I want to stay true to my neutral, but I still also want to give myself more opportunities to kill. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So, who would you say is the best Samus at going for those kinds of at going for those hits?
Honestly, I would say like probably one of the faster ones, like Swooper or F and Silver, or even like Plup was pretty good at using the platforms because I think what makes Duck really good is he had a very similar game plan as me, but he was just incredible at edge guarding. So every time they were off stage, they would just not come back, and that's just not my strength. So I want to become a little more consistent at not having to rely so much on covering edge guards rather than kind of like how I think that's what makes Duck like a really good player because he followed my kind of game plan of just like playing pretty safe, playing pretty grounded, and just rinse and repeating edge guards, and it worked for him really well, obviously. So
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So you kind of have like a basic structure with the character that's like that's what you're doing. And that's like what I'd consider foundational for Samus. Like using the
yeah,
ground, like spacing carefully. All of that makes a ton of sense.
yeah,
What we're trying to do is we're trying to have like a middle we're trying to have like an opportunity to add more power to our gameplay which
Yeah.
might require us to use the air in spots that like Samus isn't traditionally as strong in, but has the upside of like hitting harder. So we're
Yeah,
trying to
exactly.
we're trying to find the happy middle.
That's correct. Yeah, that's exactly correct, KK.
Okay, great. So let's take a look. What I would say here is, why don't we look? I'm thinking what might make sense here is a compare and contrast, and then see what we can like. So like, let's maybe look at like what Swooper does. I've found a set of him versus Flash from Smash
Flash.
Con. Yeah, Flash the Falco from Smash Con last year. So like,
Oh yeah.
so I think that this might be a good character for us to look at, and we can then compare like what he does to what you do, and see if there's what opportunities, like where we would slot in some of his plays into your gameplay.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking makes sense. Okay, cool. So it sounds like you're on board. So let me share my screen.
Or
And
you. Yeah, that totally works. Yeah. Perfect.
okay, excellent. So let's start from the beginning, and I've just got the sound on like minimum.
Yeah. So.
And yeah, let's just take this one.
Yeah, and this matchup especially, I love to just power shield and just like punish with power shield with F tilt and just abusing Falco's not the best power squad. But look, even right there, he gets a cool knockdown to check chase with just one of those really big sweet spot backers that I don't ever really mess with. I just don't like. I don't know. I just don't see myself going in that position for some reason, and I just find a really hard time finding those opportunities. Obviously, Flash missed the upper, which would have shield poked, but either way, Super found the opening.
Well, yeah, and the thing is that like even if even if the up air might shield poke, like him being up here is generally good. Like we're getting hit by an up air by Falco, like that's not the end of the world. Like we're defending well against shine, we're defending well against down air. Like the two big like things that can lead to pain, we're kind of dealing with them by being up on this side platform. And if he does anything more aggressive, like if he tries to shine Waveland up here, like we've got our be out of shield, we've got shield drop into stuff. Like this is a pretty defensible position. So I would say that like, how often do you play the shield drop position?
So I specifically against Falco, in this position, I will light shield a lot. I hate getting shield poked by stuff, so I will like hold Z and A to just buffer like a fat light shield. So typically, I will get like slid off in this situation because my platform is so big or the shield is so big that it just slides me off sometimes, and sometimes I go into tumble. So maybe I'm holding light shield too much. But yeah, I do like to hold light shield like a lot, and I don't mind playing the shield drop game. But LXIX and other Falcos who I've been playing with for a million years have just like have just gotten me used to just like not like shield dropping because they'll just way under with up tilts or like even on unranked like or ranked like a good Fox or a good Falco that I play will just wait under the platform, especially on a stage like Yoshi's, with just like up tilts or like an up smash or something, and I won't even be able to get down. So nowadays, I've like learned to try to use the top platform to navigate my way close to the ground. But yeah, I will try to play the shield drop game. I am a big fan of shield drop fair to grab or whatever, or shield drop nair. But yeah, I don't really mess with those slide off kind of back airs that he's doing so much. So I do find myself getting sharked quite a bit under the platforms by specifically Falco and Fox. I don't really mess with it so much with Marth because just being above Marth is not is kind of weird. But yeah, with Falco and Fox, I find myself getting poked a lot by their up tilts, especially when they're just like reading a shield drop, and then they can just combo the heck out of me after that.
Gotcha. So here's a thought. So we're gonna have you. What's your favorite color?
Green. Yes.
Green. Perfect. Okay.
Yes.
So we're gonna have you be represented, but your path's represented by green. So
Perfect.
so one thing I would note here is that Swooper, when he leaves the platform, he doesn't shield drop. He like comes off it with like Waveland, right? So
that's right.
Yeah. So one thing that I think you're right. Like falling into Fox like this or Falco like this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But what I would say is that like once we get into like imagine if you were here instead of here, right? So like let's say that instead of Samus being here and she's got her armor, like let's say that she's over here. Well, I would say that in this case, in this spot over here, she's a lot more like positioned to be able to deal with him because she does have more range than him with her legs, right? So she's able to like outrange him, even if he has more priority than her, or like more disjointedness on some things, she can still fall in this pathway outside of like the range of his attacks, like his up tilt, and then hit him there, right? Kind of like the Falcon Nair or back air versus like Fox and Falco up tilt or Sheik forward tilt, right? Like how they kind of miss and then hit after. So I think that might be an opening that we can play for more, because like at that point, then you're able to like, you know, from here, from your falling position, you're able to like stick out your back air like effectively here, get the knockdown, and like look at how low he is when this knocks him over. 16. That's such an aggressive, like that's such a good open up.
Yeah, that is a really huge open up for sure. Yeah, yeah. I noticed that knockdown as well, and my game plan, unless I'm using down tilt or down smash, I'm not knocking down until 50%, because that's usually what I start knocking down with F tilt. But before that, I'm typically using like down tilts and down smashes just to set up knockdowns or grabs or something.
Right, and like I think that like one thing I would say is back air, because it's a tipped hitbox, it requires precision. But Light Shield doesn't allow that. Like that to me is like the big difference here. So like because Light Shield has so little traction that it just pushes you around when you're trying to go for things, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
So like this, to me, one simple change that I think makes a ton of sense is simply to use your hard shield more, or even crouch canceling here. Like you could also crouch cancel here, and then using your because you could also dash dance out of your crouch cancel too, and like this will give you way more mobility to like play for like precise units on this side platform. Because right now you're like, if you're always going for light shield here, you're limiting yourself a lot, and you're not allowing yourself to micro space for tipped hitboxes effectively.
Oh, I see.
And this is like the completed diagram, so this one you keep.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, because like look at how like he doesn't get it, but like imagine if he had down smashed for the 3 to 4 there. Like,
yeah, look how much he likes to use waveline. It's incredible. Yeah, see, he uses another waveline. Like he purposely gives away his position there, and then he just waveline backwards. It's very interesting. It's completely different than the way I would play it, but it's so interesting how much earlier Super kills than me. So obviously he's doing something right.
Well, and the thing is, like, you say that he's giving away position, but I'd say that he's like kind of trading position. So like, let me explain. So like, he's not taking the ground, but what he's doing is he's cornering Falco.
Yeah, he definitely is.
Because like by walking by him here, he's now like flipped the position, and this is this is such a good tech chase.
Yeah.
Like he misses it, but like like if he materializes either of those two tech chases, like that turns into like that becomes pain so quickly for Flash. Like that can like actually kill him.
It's pretty interesting. Like I don't understand when I don't understand why or when he starts using the platforms, and that's what I want to understand. Like, why does he go up on the platform in that situation where he was already in the corner? I would have tried to set up a power shield F tilt into early edgeguard gimp. That's what I would have tried to set up. But the fact that he doesn't even think about power shielding Falco in the corner makes it think that he has like something. His mind is just different, right? Like he's just thinking about something else. Because myself, I would have taken Falco in the corner lasering as an opportunity to power shield him and try to knock him off stage at an early percent.
Gotcha. So you would have been like, so in this spot, like, so once he gets through him, you're thinking like aggression here. So instead of...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. That's what I'm thinking right there. That's what goes through in my head. That's why when I see Samus's use a platform, it sometimes blows my mind because I don't ever understand the situations where I should put myself in that same situation. Because for me, I would have taken the more aggressive stance, stood my ground, easily power shielded the Falco laser, gone for a potential F tilt to knock him off stage to get the first stock, potentially. That's what I would have done. But instead, he just decides to, like, rock the mid platform, and I think go for a back air here. It's very interesting how different these Samuses play. So something completely different that I'm not really used to, and I want to be able to use the platform more like what's the word, more like liberally. I don't want to be so scared of using the platform, and the way Super uses it, like he doesn't seem like he's scared at all. In fact, he seems like he even has a plan, but not my game plan specifically, but he seemed like he definitely has a plan here.
Cool. So we're gonna do swoopers like lines of play in purple or like blue, and then we're gonna do yours in green. So so here's the pros and cons I see. So I would say that the good thing about your play is that we're like knocking Falco into this territory, which is really good. Because if we power shield the laser and forward tilt him, we're like knocking him here, which like somewhere into this this box, which is like a really easy tech chase, which allows us to then play for like because forward tilt, he goes somewhere here, we play for the knockdown, we're then able to push him off stage, and then we go for the early edge guard, like you're saying.
That's what I would have done.
Yeah, so the pros of that, so I would say pros and cons. So pros of your play, high KO potential. Like that's one big thing. One thing I'm concerned about though is that we're basically making a read. Like we're anticipating that Falco is going to go for a laser, but he doesn't technically have to. Like
True.
with this side platform, he has really good approach angles from above. He's got the option to dash dance here because he still has a good amount of space. Some lasers are really difficult to power shield too. So like I know that you're good at power shielding lasers, but like he has counterplay with his laser too. Like he could also shoot the really low ones, which he's able to jump over after. By hanging out in this territory. So we're not sure, like your play kind of like relies on him doing certain things. Whereas with Swooper's play, I think the biggest like advantage to it, even though it doesn't represent the same like odds of killing him, what it does is it allows him to compete with the laser by firing a missile at like his head height, which then cuts down like future lasers. Right?
Is that what Super does? I actually don't even remember. Like, is that what he like? I feel like that makes sense. Out of the platform, definitely fire a laser. But to me, I actually don't even remember what he does. Oh yeah, he does fire a laser. Okay. Oh, he does fire a missile. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, that's also a good play. That's something I probably would have done as well, honestly. But yeah, that's firing a missile to set up like a potential tech chase, whatever. Okay.
Yeah, so then if we take Flash's options here, the other thing I would say is that Swooper's options are Swooper by going onto the platform is keeping Falco out of like his like Falco's short hop aerial kind of covers like this zone here, like this bottom semicircle. And then his aerials hit like near like this line up here, right? So Swooper is keeping outside of that zone. So he's a lot safer, he's not under as much threat. And the thing is, like, Falco with platforms is kind of awkward, because, like, if he wants to attack Swooper directly up here, he has to commit to lasering up here, basically. Or cross all of this space. Like, basically get to, like, around this line. And it's probably closer, probably, like, more around here, but here you could kind of do it from. So, like, and Falco's full hop, because it's so big, it requires him basically to do all this, or do, like, a shine or something here, which then indicates what he's up to. So I think that like this gives Swooper a lot more like options to like react and kind of branch out in different directions. Whereas your play kind of like forces you to like take a fighting stance, whether Falco wants to fight you or not.
For sure, cause I've always been like more of a scrappier Samus, because just like being on the floor will typically make you, I guess, scrappier because you have less escape options. So I'm just used to those scrambles. But yeah, I find, like what you said, I should probably put myself in less scramble situations and more situations where I have potentially more options, even though it might not lead to a kill right now. It might lead to something like further down. So I have to think more long term than thinking like directly what's in front of me.
Yeah, and then the other thing I would say here, the biggest con to like your play, like the biggest drawback I would say to like yours that like his play is solving, is that your play, because of your percent, like if you were in this spot at this percent, like you're basically like you're potentially risking a fighting stance, like a fighting position against Falco's D tilt at 106, his F smash. Like we're basically like showing our hand again when we're at the point that we can die. So that would be So you're basically like you're playing Rochambeau. Because you're basically saying, okay, like one of us is gonna die here, and it's like maybe it's me, maybe it's you, who knows? Let's roll the dice. And Swooper is saying like I'm above that sort of thing because I don't need
to. That's absolutely Swooper. That screams his playstyle for sure. That 100 screams his playstyle. Even though he moves a lot, he is not a very big risk taker. I find. Yes, exactly. So that's so interesting. Yeah, that's a. He doesn't feel like risking it, so he just resets until he's in a position where he feels like he has more control. That's so interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know why ad block isn't working, but that's neither here nor
That's
there.
okay. It'd be like that sometimes.
Yeah, but like, and you can see he's then
That's so interesting.
he's still
Yeah.
representing the power shield game and the scrappy stuff when he has to. Like in that position, he's already pinned. He has to fight, and he's still
Yeah.
doing a lot of the same stuff that you would be going for. But
That,
like,
um,
oh, that's so unfortunate. But oh my
yeah,
god,
seriously, the wall jump RNG. Yeah, that was great.
yo, but like the way he covered it by like just kind of like following along with his like like, so
Oh, you're gonna go to the
this
back there.
the back air, then the way that he like up tilts where he goes, misses, and then still has the wherewithal to down smash for the coverage. Like that's so smart. Like he's so good.
Yeah, he really is. And there, he was about to set up another sweet spot back here, but he got stuffed by Falco Laser. And obviously, he knows this because he's above 109%, so he knows that he's got to go for a kill at some point. And for me, at this situation, because it's Falco, I actually sort of don't mind going for my F tilt game plan because honestly, like Falco's recovery is kind of shit enough where I can actually like not mind rinse repeating edge guarding.
I love
Not
that.
versus not on like Fox where it's just kind of annoying. But yeah, that was a fantastic. I like how he dashed or he did a little dash dance there to just kind of wait for the tech. That was
Yeah, no,
really
exactly. Like it's all like it's so well set up, it's so well
Yeah.
done, and I
Yeah.
think I really like how he went up with the fair there. Like this is like I think this is a pretty standard fair. Like you see someone light shielding there, you just kind of do it. But I still
funny enough there. Not to cut you off, but what I would have done there is I actually would have done an aerial interrupt grab. Because I love grabbing, and I would have set up an up throw to likely DI left because they don't want to go off stage to a fat down air to a fat like follow up, and that's what I would have done because I love to grab at low percents because I love to like combo at low percent. So rather than him doing a short hop fair, I would have done a short hop aerial interrupt up air into instant grab, and I probably would have gotten him because no, like not a lot of people know that's coming, and that's personally what I would have done there. So yeah, whenever I see someone holding shield like that, I love to set up aerial interrupt up air into grab, rather than the fair seems like a little pointless to me because it's not going to knock down, it's not going to set up for nothing, and it's not going to really put you in an advantageous position if you do hit it. That's just my logic.
So I would disagree with that last bit about advantageous position because you can see that like he's actually landed, like they've landed next to each other, and because of the shield damage, like I think that Swooper actually made a mistake here by shielding. I think that Swooper would have actually benefited, like after hitting the fair, I think that we can basically play this a similar position to the one that you're describing, just with grabber down, like the grabber down smash mix up, except now we've then put Falco to 24. Right? Because we're still accomplishing the same thing about landing on the platform together in like a relatively even position. Except now we've put pressure on Falco, and we've also like whittled his shield a bit. Like, you see how small it is? Like, imagine if we go for down smash or like down tilt here.
Yeah. Funny enough, I've actually seen this situation plenty, and I've seen it not like shield poke for some reason. I'm not sure if that's the way down smash works sometimes, but I find that the shield has to be like really small for down smash to shield poke sometimes. I don't know why.
True. So maybe there's down smash shield poke isn't as much of like a consideration. Maybe it's more like of a down tilt thing. Maybe you have to up tilt.
Down tilt. Yeah, it could potentially. Yeah, I think that could potentially work. But yeah, like I said, not a lot of Samuses like to grab as much as I do. That's something I also love and incorporate in my game plan. I learned that from Hugo a long time ago. Conditioning is something I love to do, and I will grab people so much because I just condition the heck out of them.
Right, and so like what I'm saying is I think this fair represents a place where we can, because I know that you said that you go for the empty land, and I think the empty land is fine, but like if we're attacking him and then we suddenly grab out of attacking him after we've confirmed that he's shielding, you know what I mean? Like he waited long enough for Swooper to roll into him. Like I think that we can like definitely get the grab off after going for the fair. So then we've kind of created a trap because now he's like waiting for the fair when we come up. But then we have like we're making the aerial interrupt grab more powerful because now we're actually proactively conditioning him for it.
Yeah, I see rather than just doing it. Okay, I see. Yeah, so we do play the game plan pretty similarly. I do see what you're saying, but oh, that's unfortunate. No
It's like
dash
you
attack.
you have similar you use a lot of the same moves, but what I noticed with him is he has a little bit more supporting elements.
Yeah, I agree. His because I think his tech skill is just a little bit better, and yeah, it's just his confidence on the ledge. But to be fair though, I hit those aerial interrupts off battlefield, and I'm pretty happy about that because it actually gives me options.
Yeah, like so to me, like this dash dance is also like a really good example because like I think that it's easy to like get caught into like the like spacing forward tilt kind of game, but like he
Ah,
almost gets that punish on it, like that reaction punish on the dash dance, and I think that like that's kind of that a little bit of extra movement so that he stays like more capable of covering rolls and stuff. I think that's
yeah,
like he's just got more. He's got similar ideas, but he's just got more supporting elements for them, which makes
yeah.
his gameplay a little bit more complete.
Gotcha,
Um,
gotcha. Yeah, because I've actually not recently, but I've really started to be less scared to use dash attack, specifically in the Fox and Falcon matchup again. So yeah, I really like I like using dash attack to set up dash attack through shield sometimes because sometimes they can't really punish through shield. Oh, that was great. But yeah, sometimes they can't really punish through shield. So yeah, I do like dash attack. But yeah, I agree that I can incorporate some more dash dancing into my game plan for sure.
I also find he goes for lots of like I don't know how what your position on missile is, but like one of the big things I'm noticing with the side platform is that like okay, that shield poke is dirty. Like
Yeah, yeah, that was for
this is
sure.
something that I think that's definitely worth like stealing shamelessly.
Yeah, for sure. I do like going, funny enough, I do go for the back airs on top plat because they're a little easier to space, and I do go for those. I just don't go specifically for the ones that are wave landed on grounded opponents. Those are the ones that I struggle with the most. So
Okay.
I do see myself getting a kill on top platform with back air plenty of times, but when they're on the ground and they refuse to leave the ground at like 60 or 70, I struggle like finding an opening sometimes because they'll just play around my F-tilt game and then I'll be too scared to use the platforms to set up like more things. So that's definitely like I said where I struggle. So
That was a great bomb. That's like the best
yeah.
one of the best bombs I've ever seen. Like this one.
Oh yeah, that was great. It stopped his back air. That was fantastic.
I really like how he's using the side platforms for missiles as well. Like I feel like the way he like maneuvers and goes around people, because I think that like a lot of times when we're fighting when we're fighting against Samus, the temptation is to just kind of like wall her as she comes in from the ground. But then like he's kind of got like a
Oh,
next
wow.
level, like the level 2 mix up by going around so much.
Yeah,
Uh,
can you rewind that for like just like 10 seconds? The way he plays this Falco coming back on stage, the way he just resets backer, that's so cool. See, what I would have done there is I would have tried to like get Falco like approaching me, but the way he just reset and just went to the other side of the stage, that's something that, like I guess his positioning and his safety is just a little bit more like more aware than mine because yeah,
Yeah,
he
he's at
repositions constantly.
163, so he's like really because
Yeah.
especially like think about like remember where the two of them both started on the stock. He started with 140 damage deficit, right?
Yeah.
So like he had to like claw that 100 damage back without dying this entire time. So I think that with him, he's just not forcing the issue because he knows that if he does, then like there's a good chance he dies and loses the stock, and then he has to do last stock versus Falco. And Last Stock versus Falco is kind of scary. Like
It
versus
is.
all of the fast fallers, they are all so good at like suicide like stock trade kills that like having the extra life lead versus and in return they're very susceptible to those things. So having the extra like life when you're going into the last stock is actually really really meaningful.
Yeah.
Because it means that like yeah, like if you forward throw them and then they do some stupid up B, you can just run off and nair them and trade the kill. But like in the same vein, like Fox has his shine spike, Falco and Falcon have their dares. Like they're really good at doing that sort of thing back to you. So
Yeah, for
if
sure, for sure.
mm,
On that note, KK,
yeah,
I actually struggled when to grab the ledge and when to just simply like forward smash or up tilt. Like sometimes I will like find myself thinking too much, like, oh, should I grab the ledge here or should I just stay on stage? Like sometimes like for example, that situation right there, I would have like probably done like a jumping nair to try to cover ledge. But yeah, like honestly, I'm like so hesitant to grab ledge sometimes, or to. I think that's a big problem of mine too, when it comes down to kills, because I literally cannot. I don't know when to grab the ledge, or I don't know when to like set up for an edge guard. I think that's a big situation of mine too. Is I have like a lot of doubt in myself when it comes to edge guarding sometimes, because it's not like a fox or a sheik. I always tell myself this. I wish I was like a sheik that can just grab the ledge and just back her and back her and back her. I can't really, like, Samus doesn't really have the luxury to do that because she's not as fast off ledge. So I find myself a lot of times like either about to go to ledge and then I get snagged from like on stage, or I choose on stage and they go to ledge, and that's an option, and that's something for me that I find like I'm very hesitant to grab the ledge or to set up for an edge guard sometimes, and sometimes I really don't know, honestly, like especially in a side B situation I'll find myself like going for a gamble when in reality should be more of a reaction, but I'm going for like guesses.
Gotcha. So I would say it's neither a reaction nor a guess. What it is to me, what side for covering side B, I always consider it just like a I consider it just order of operations. So I think that Swooper's play could have worked here. The problem is he goes too far into the stage. What he had to do was he had to like just hang here with Nair.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So what I mean by order of operations is, with Falc's and Falco's recoveries, which one happens first? Their side B or their up B?
Typically, their side B, yes.
Yeah, because it moves them on. It moves them on frame 21, whereas up B moves them on frame 42.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Because the delay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So whenever you're edge guarding these guys, what I would say is you're making like a. So the name of the game, you want to do one of two things. You want to make it, if you can cover their recovery zone with a projectile, that's ideal. If you can't, or you can't do it fully, what you want to do is you want to line your body up with like the top. You want to line your body up with their illusion, with where their illusion goes, like Swooper has done here.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you just put out a move that with a consistent hitbox. Remember, Falco and Fox's side Bs do not have hitboxes in front of them. What happens is they have a hitbox behind them, like where the, and I could actually point out where it is, and it follows them as they move forward. So what that means is the move doesn't have any priority. So Falco is moving ahead like this, and he's a bird, and the hitbox is following behind him and eventually catches up with him. This means for you that if all you have to do is stick out like a reverse nair like this,
yeah,
and then like. Yeah, you're like happy. Or like the problem with Swooper here is this is just entirely a move, like an option choice issue. The other thing that he could have done here if he wasn't sure is like drop a bomb here. Because then he crashes into it, falls down, like he dies. Like either of those, I think the Nair is much better. The back air could have worked, he just missed. But like if we look at like what happens with the animation, right? So Falco moves forward. What's going on here is Falco. Oh, and he shortens it. Okay, cool.
And he shortens. Yeah, that's why the backer doesn't hit. Yeah, I was gonna say because he shortens. Yeah.
Cool. So this is part of why I like nairing here, because it like hangs for longer. But Falco's hitbox is actually the blue thing, so there's no priority on this move whatsoever. So you don't have to worry about it. All you're doing is like making him crash into that somewhat efficiently. And then the reason we do it this way is because in that same situation, like let's go back to our diagram. If Falco were to not do this, if like let's say he were to up B here, like he powers up, that means that on the same you're aiming to hit him around like the 30th frame of this, or like around the 27th frame of this or so. That means there's a solid like 14 or 15 frames before he even moves from here, that you can then act and then like put out a forward tilt, put out like an up tilt, grab the edge, like just shoot a power beam, like you have the ability to still react and deal with this after. So I would say the order of operations is almost always cover the illusion first, and then if they don't do the illusion, then deal with the up B angle afterwards. And one of the things that you can do that helps you with, and then as they stop doing this, because they start realizing that they're getting killed for doing it and stick to like up B, once you have them off that condition, like once you have that conditioning in place, then you can go out and be really aggressive.
Yeah, I see. Because like I said, I find myself being hesitant when to grab the ledge. Because recently I found that I will grab the ledge to cover, the ledge 100%, and then react to their on stage option with like a nair or like a down smash or just like something. And sometimes that works, and sometimes it doesn't because they'll just sweet spot to ledge and they'll call me out. But I found that grabbing ledge has been getting me a little bit more openings versus just not grabbing ledge and just kind of going for like an up tilt or something, because at least I know they're not going to grab the ledge because I'm on there, kind of thing. So
Yeah, the other cool thing you can do because you're Samus is like remember, like you can shoot you can shoot missiles too. Like
yeah,
so
yeah, for sure.
one of the things that I think that Swooper did well here and like didn't really capitalize on, but like let's say you have a missile going off at like this angle, right? Like you shoot like a really low one coming off of this platform, right? So what this maybe that's a little too low. Maybe it would be more like here. It's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, for sure, I get it.
Yeah. So what this does is it means that he can't it controls where he can do the illusion from, right? So he can't fall on this with the illusion, which means that if you see him illusion, that kind of gives you a reaction point from like an on-stage edge guarding position, which we'll do in dark green.
Yeah.
So like if you were in an on-stage position instead, like let's say you're here and you have this missile going, you know he can't illusion here. He has to illusion from a higher angle, so he'd have to do it realistically from here, which then gives you the option to like, then to forward tilt here or whatever, or short on air. There you go. So then, and the cool thing is that depending on where his like the peak of his double jump takes him, you can also then react to him like to where his up B is, because like his double jump realistically takes him within a certain range of space. If it's still within the range of like if it's within the range of like your standing missile, you can also use like a follow-up missile to cover like basically anything here. If his like double jump takes him to this spot. So I would say that like the only time you really have to mix up on space animal recoveries is if you've covered them going to the ledge effectively with one thing and their jump doesn't take them above like the standing missile, you don't actually have to, you can just shoot the missile and kill them. Like that's one of the main perks of your character.
Yeah.
The other cool thing is when you hit them away, that's part of why shooting the missiles is good, because if it like either they go over, like they have to go under it or they have to like play above it, so it kind of also creates an over or under thing.
I see.
Cause like so I would say that like missile use, like that's one of the things that Swooper is doing really well here. Cause like if you know that they have to be above this line, then that means it's easier to like figure out it's probably a high like whether or not it's a high recovery, because it doesn't really make sense for them to illusion all the way up here, right? But if they drop below it, like just barely below it, then that makes a lot more sense for like an illusion, because they can't really like make the stage with the up B at that as easily.
Yeah, I see. Okay.
So it's really just like figuring out like the things that you want to make sure that you're measuring when you're doing these edge guards is the distance on the up B. Like, can they make it back to the stage with their current position from up B? Yes or no? And then from there, are they doing a low recovery or a high recovery? And like, how did it interact with the missile line? But like, that's really, those I think are the keys here. Does this make a little bit more sense, like as a structure, or okay?
Yeah, because so I actually really like that was my main edge guard back in the day. Like back in the day, I wouldn't even bother going off stage, and I would just do side B, like shield drop missile into either like soft missile to cover the up B, and then they get knocked down to instant side B or another up B, or I just do shield drop strong missile to cover the side B on stage. But I stopped doing that a little while. Well, not stop, but I kind of stopped trying to depend on it so much, because I find that whenever I missiled, people would either just go like the missile would go right behind it, and then they would just like side B over it, or they would like up B like right over the missile as well. So I find myself like not depending as much on missiles nowadays, because before I was using like a lot of missiles to as my main edgeguard tools, and I really found that like I was just depending too much on it. So I'm not doing it as much nowadays, but maybe it's something I should consider. See, like what Super's doing right now, that's pretty much the only way. Like yeah, like right there, that right there. I shield drop missile, and they go right under it, and they grab ledge. And that happened to me so many times that one day I saw the Samus do the nair from ledge, and then they just do the rising nair from ledge, and I was like, that's way more reliable and way better. So I just kind of stopped doing this kind of interaction. But this, what happens right here, happens to me all the time. He'll go on the top platform, or he'll go on the platform, he'll shield drop missile, and then he goes right under. That happens to me all the time.
Yeah, so I would say that, like, in this case, I think Swooper's done one, two. I think Swooper has done one too many. So,
I see.
So, like, what I would have done here, what I think the play is here, so, like, because of the 2 missiles, like, he's created this, like, system. I don't think he should jump for the next one. So I think that after firing this one, once he sees the double jump rings, what he should be doing is he should be, like, jumping forward into this spot and then just nairing him.
Double jump rings. Huh. I guess you're right. There is double jump rings, isn't there?
Yeah, so, like, this is indicating to Swooper that, like, Falco's double jumped. So what I would say is, once he sees this, he knows that Falco has to go in between the two projectiles because he can't go anywhere else. So then at that point, you just jump and nair him.
And in your like professional opinion, how reactable are those double jump rings? I've actually never even noticed those double jump rings till like right now. Like I've obviously seen them before, but like now that you really pointed out, it's very clear that they're gonna double jump with those rings at the bottom. Wow. But I don't think that's very reactable. Oh yeah, okay.
But because it's helped by the fact that he has all the projectiles flying around, though.
Yeah, I see.
Because like there's only one of 2 things. Like once he fires this, there's only one of 2 things Falco can do. Like either he goes lower and double. Like this is why I think that him him committing to this jump here is bad, because Falco either goes low enough so that he goes under this power missile and doesn't interact with it, or he goes into the pocket of space between the 2 of them. He can only do one or the other. So it if Swooper just turns his back, like if Swooper just waits here, if he sees Falco double jump and then illusion, he can just turn his back and grab the edge quickly, and then Falco is dead, right? Or he can low angle F tilt and Falco is dead, or run off nair and Falco is still dead. So he has a lot of options for dealing with this. And then the alternative is, if he sees Falco double jump up here, he knows that he's at 14 and Falco's at 152. All he has to do is just short hop nair him, and then Falco is also dead. So, like, really, the key to this one, because this is actually a really good demonstration of, like, that thing I was telling you about, what the missiles are doing is the missiles are creating a line here, and a line, like, a kind of a curved one, like, here. Right? So then Falco can only do one of 2 things. If he jumps up, he has to go in between, like this is where this one is he has to go into the pocket of space that's between them, or he has to stay below them. But like he can only do one of those 2 things. He cannot do both, like, because this is no good and this is no good. Okay. So then all Swooper has to do is just play around with these 2 things, and the way that he does that is by just going here. Going here and waiting, because if he goes here, he just jumps and kicks him.
So, and that here doesn't necessarily mean grabbing the ledge, right? That just kind of means occupying that space, not necessarily grabbing the ledge or not.
Yeah, he doesn't have to do anything. Like if he stands here, he can cover both of them, because he can just jump.
True.
He can just jump into this spot or run off in nair or forward.
Or he can even do like a really tricky up tilt, but that's really hard to time. But yeah.
Or he can turn around and grab the edge if he knows that it's the illusion. But the fact of the matter is like Falco's only safe space is in these 2 these 2 blobs here, like this area and this area. If he gets hit by either missile, he dies. So it's like, yeah, with Swooper, to his credit, has set up a really, really difficult trap for Falco to navigate, because there's just so little space that he can go to with his his jump is so big. There's so little space he can go to easily and deliberately. Like, he's not really, like, the fast fallers, like, or at least the space animals, because of their huge jumps, they're not actually good at, like, once the missiles are already out and flying around, they're not really good at hiding what they're doing against the missiles, because they have to, like, the missiles cover such big areas that they have to, like, and they also travel in big areas, so they have to, like, kind of, like, fall to specific spots to, like, move around them. Falcon and Ganon are, weirdly enough, in my opinion, much better at weaving around these with precision, because their jumps are smaller.
Okay.
But you see what I mean? Like, that beam there accomplishes nothing. Because he's already got the kill. He's already got Falco checkmated. Because, yeah, if he just goes up, he kicks him. If he goes down, he just grabs Edge or kicks him.
I see. Okay.
So we haven't really looked at your gameplay, but I think we're getting a lot of really good ideas here, so I'm good with continuing. Are you good with that?
Yeah, for sure. I actually have a SLP here.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Let me take a look at this. Let me see if it's a good SLP here, because I know I was playing a pretty decent Falco on ranked the other day.
Nice.
And a lot of my problems, like, yeah, you're gonna see like a lot of the differences immediately. Like you're gonna notice it immediately. But let me see here. Let me find this is a good one.
Sure. God, Flash is so good at this matchup.
Yeah, Flash is incredible. Yeah, Flash is incredible. Yeah, for sure. He's I think he's very good. I remember playing him back when he was in like just starting on the expert server, and I was like, who the heck is this kid? He's destroying me. And this was like years ago. This is like almost pandemic, almost when Slippy first came out. So he's gotten so much better. I really hope he comes to Gama one day.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, it would be. I find like Ohio's not even that far, right? It's probably only like a 10-hour drive or something. That's not that bad.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
You know what? I feel like this is gonna be good enough. Whatever. I'll just send you the file.
Sure. And we can
this is. Oh, I can reveal location. Wow, that is so handy. Wow.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. Like reveal location is so sick.
Wow, that is handy. I never used that feature. That's cool. All right, here we go. And that's obviously on the latest Slippy there. And honestly, I actually don't really mind Yoshi story versus Falco. I'll go there before FD and I'll go there before FOD. Like funny enough, yeah. I only if it's the Falco's really really good at shining off the top consistently, then I actually do not mind Yoshi's. I was able to beat what's his name, that really good Falco from the UK, not Frenzy, the other one, at Gommel on Yoshi's at a few years ago. I don't remember his tag now.
Okay, so let's take a look here. So how does this damage happen? So you got the grab. We've got that fair, but he CC shines it. Okay.
This is a Dreamland game. Hold on. This is a Dreamland game? Hold on here. This is not the right game. I want to send you a Yoshi's game. Oh, yes. Hold on. Let me reveal another. Let me send you the right one here. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Yes. This is the one here, buddy. Perfect. And I'm going to full screen the stream now here. Perfect. All right. So this is the one. And you're going to find a lot of the things I say, like how I really like to not navigate the platforms too much, and you're gonna see me.
I like how you did that fair, because that's kind of the one we were talking about, and I think that's good that it's there, because it's gonna build. That's part of what makes the aerial interrupt grab work.
Yeah, for sure. And to be fair, I don't really like going for aerial interrupt grab on this stage so much, because the aerial interrupt is actually a little trickier to get. It's a little easier to get on Battlefield for sure. See, that's exactly what I mean there. So I grab ledge there because I'm able to react to one of his options, and then I just punish on stage with the down smash or something. That's literally what I've been trying to do for a while, and it kind of works, but sometimes it doesn't. Like, I want to be more certain, because I kind of just grab the ledge just to grab the ledge here, honestly. Like, I don't really... There's no real reason for me grabbing the ledge besides the fact that I just suck at covering the ledge, so I just grab it before he has the opportunity to...
You're making life so hard for yourself to cover the edge. Why don't we fire a missile here?
Yeah, you're right. We're
falling through the platform anyway. It's auto cancels. Like, why not just fire it and see what he does about it?
Huh? I guess you're right. Yes.
Cause it's not like we're doing anything else here. It's not like we've landed to the edge, but having the missile here means that he can't fall into it. So that has crossed certain things off our list of things. It also is gonna hit lag him if he flies right into it. Now, granted, it'll probably go first, but it still gives us the opportunity to see to understand he's doing this high recovery, and yeah, from here we can, it just gives us more options. It's still a difficult recovery in general, but it's honestly, what if we could we do homing missile coming down?
Yeah, we could potentially do a homing missile, and then what would have happened there? He probably would have instant side beat, or he would have just tried to up B again. And honestly, that definitely would have been better than me just guessing. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
Because he drops a bit. He goes here, so then we have an easier upbeat edge guard, right? And then he has to also go through the startup time again. which is another like 42 frames. So like, yeah, like this is good because we also know he has no jump. So if he has to recover here, like we might be able to just like wave land off the platform and like back air him or something. Like
Yeah, for sure.
or
100%.
short hop at him.
Yeah. Instead, I kind of know he was gonna go for the backer, so I do a no impact landing down smash, but that just
you had to know
yeah.
that though, like whereas the other play you don't have to know that.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. See, and that's what I mean right there. If you rewind it again, that shield drop situation, I get that right there. It happens to me a lot. So that's kind of why I stopped kind of using the platform like a little bit versus Falco, because obviously I understand Shy Guys kind of messed me up there, but regardless, that happens to me a lot. Like I'll shield drop, or I'll try to do an aggressive option off the ledge or off the platform, and Falco or Fox will be waiting under there for me, ready with the up tilt. And this same situation happens to me all the time, regardless if they know my playstyle or not. I find Falcos have just changed their playstyle a little bit over the years to be like less oppressive on ledges and more oppressive on the ground, and they'll just like hold their position and up tilt whenever I fall through. And this happens to me a lot for sure. And this is what I was trying to tell you earlier.
Yeah, so what I would say here is I think this you're trying to fall into him directly right now.
Yeah, so, exactly. Which is probably not the best idea, yeah.
So what I would say here is I think what Swooper, so instead of trying to fall into him directly, what if we like double jumped forward into like a waveland and then came off and like nared him or back aired him here?
Yeah. But how do you decide that quickly? You have to decide that before you even touch the platform, right? Like, you have to decide what you want before even getting into the situation, right? Because you can't... Okay, I see. You have to be... Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Because...
So you're trying to react, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And I find that's my playstyle, like, a lot, because I find, like, I try to react unnecessarily a lot, when in reality, I can just put myself in a better position and just pick the safer and easier option kind of thing.
Yes, and I'm glad you kind of pointed out safer position, because to me this is not a good position, because we're like pinned on the corner like versus Falco. If we drop to this zone, like it doesn't really improve our position all that much. So I'm thinking like what makes a lot of sense here, and I think why Swooper does it so much is instead of taking this okay position, what he says is he says, okay, I'm Samus, I have a decent health bar, even if I'm at 80, like I don't die to being up tilted like here, so even if I get hit on the way over, like it's fine. But if I get to this spot next to Falco and then hit him on the way down, then I'm really good. So he's playing for this spot, like this center stage spot that's really strong. And then on the way down, incidentally, maybe we get Falco. The other cool thing worth noting, Falco can't jump up and back air you.
Yeah,
because of the bomb, so like you're actually guarded on the way down here.
Look at that! I didn't even notice that. That's a great eye, and I do put out that bomb a lot there. Okay, yeah, that's a great eye. Okay.
So yeah, like what you're doing here is instead of taking this is a good spot, right? Like we can earn this, and this is like so. So all we're doing is we're just playing for the good spot instead of the so spot.
Okay, yeah. So my positioning, I just gotta clean up my positioning a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense a lot for sure.
So in this game, there's kind of like a positional rock paper scissors system. I don't know if you've heard it before, but it's like undershooting where you like do your moves like in advance. Like what the Falco's doing here with like that down air where you are into like this back air to cover where you might go to this up tilt. Like he's walling you, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So then what I would say, then you've got whiff punishing, which is like using your movement to like bait these out and then going second. And then you've got overshooting, which is when you're like attacking into the retreat zone. So with you being above Falco, you don't really have the option to overshoot into him because you can only attack him where he is, which is part I think part of the problem that we're having here. Like we're trying to like go into him a lot, but he then just puts up his wall and we wind up running into it. So we want to be like using our whiff punishing, or like by like basically just moving out of the way a little more. Because yeah, like moving out of the way, very good. You have more range than him laterally, so even if he has good priority, like we still want to use what advantages we have as much as we can.
So I I just tried reading a few power shield lasers, but like you're right, like in that situation, like for example, Flash didn't have the laser, and for example, he didn't laser, so I got kind of messed up for it. I see. Okay, so I was kind of forcing my an option too hard. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So like what we might this might just be like a matter of like using a timer. So like if you when you do this crouch, this is supposed to be a crouch power shield, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that's correct.
So I'd say like on the second one, if you walk forward and he hasn't done it yet, then I would say that like that might be your cue that maybe we retreat and like set up something with the platform using the missiles. We wave dash back.
Oh.
Like we just like we go for it. We go for the setup. If the setup doesn't materialize and we don't hear him start his jump or the laser, then we change gears.
Something else. Okay. Yeah. Because that's exactly what happened. Because I predicted like, oh, well, this guy's gonna try to power shield laser, so I'm just gonna stand here and try to predict it and try to punish him for it as soon as it comes out.
Right, but then like what we're really doing is we're turning that hard read into a soft read. Like if it happens, awesome. If it doesn't, then we just like change gears.
That
like
sucked. Yeah, that situation, for example, that's a perfect situation too. I was like, do I grab ledge here or do I up tilt? Like I probably could have gotten closer to ledge and up tilted and killed him, but like I thought if I get too close, he's gonna hit me and I'm not gonna do anything.
I always grab edge here.
Okay.
If I can, I grab edge here every single time because
okay.
And I'll tell you why. So like if we grab the edge here, right? Like this is us and we're holding So we can always cover this pocket of space that like here to about here or here to about here with our nair, which means that if he's recovering upwards, right? His up B puts him into like we can always cover like we're always covering one or the other. Like his up B would put it like can go here. He can squeeze a little bit, but not that much because he's Falco. So maybe like this angle, and then he's got like the high angle, like the going up one. So you'll notice that like with the coverage we have available to us from this edge grab, we can hit all of his ranges, right?
Yeah.
And that's not something. Yeah, and that's not something we can do so easily with our up tilt because like with how far back we are, like this one is a problem, which is I think what happened. And he's also or like sorry, no, he squeezed it, I think. So like and even if you hit this up tilt, he's still able to tack. Whereas the fact that our nair like gets in the way of him and the wall, like the hit like the wall follows about like this kind of curvature, right? But then you'll notice our hitboxes with the nairs and stuff extends beyond that. So like it's not allowing him to tack.
You know what though? Funny enough, people will smash DI and tech in a lot in that situation because I find sometimes like especially versus Falcon, like if I do like a nair off ledge, like it'll just be like almost like a free tech versus like kind of good players, but maybe don't give them that chance until I actually see him tech for once because sometimes I don't like to do the nair off ledge because I find a lot of people will just like tech it. But yeah, maybe that's something like I want to be more confident to grab the ledge and stuff. So in this situation, I grab the ledge like every day. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I definitely have time here. I definitely have time to grab the ledge here.
Yeah, the other thing I'd add is that like if they're gonna go for techs a lot, you're still more equipped to be able to deal with them here, even if they are doing smash DI and stuff. Because remember, in order for them to tech, they have to be touching the wall. So that means that they are by definition doing sharper recoveries that follow the line of the stage more, right?
Yeah.
So what happens like on Falco, not all of them, but some of them, I bet you could just edge hog them. Like what if you grab the edge and you just wait, right?
Yeah.
Because like on maybe not on like all these, but on these bottom ranges, which I'll like do with the darker color, like on this kind of like these trajectories, I bet he doesn't make it onto the stage when he rides the wall. So if you grab the edge, you're still in position to counter those. Like you'll have to do a small guess, but you're actually in the spot where you're able to deal with them because then you just hold the edge.
I see. That makes sense. Okay, so essentially, like everything I'm asking you all comes down to where I'm positioned pretty much. And essentially if I fix my positioning, my options will become more clear is what you're saying.
Yeah, because like we're not like it's so I would say the only exception to that we've seen so far is that neutral game situation where you were like kind of like fighting each other in the middle of this, like you were in the corner, he was like or not really in the corner but like on right side stage, and he was kind of coming up with Yeah, like basically the two of you were fighting, you went for the power shield reads, and like we could have changed gears out of it sooner. That one's not really so much of a positioning thing, that's just like having a more robust flowchart. But I would say for the rest of these, yeah, it's mostly positioning. And just making sure we're not being wasteful, like shooting the missile on our way down from the platform, stuff like that. But yeah, like it's not, these aren't like huge mistakes or anything. It's all just like we need a more complete game plan, and we need to be more efficient with certain positions, and then like the rest of it will kind of like figure itself out.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, I agree. Okay,
I love that down tilt.
Thank you.
So this one, okay, so something that Swooper did that I think was really good is when he's like following along with this, like he knows that this isn't gonna hit, so he kind of like wave lands across the platform and then comes down and then like does so that would be like one thing that I would also like kind of get used to.
Right, actually, he uses his double jumps more proactively there rather than I just full commit and then just miss. I see. Okay. That totally makes sense there.
Yeah, because like double jumps are kind of like an in-between of a full hop and a short hop. So like they let you do middle distances, and sometimes I guess especially as a floaty character, that's a lot of times what you need in order to like get those like precision motions onto the platform. Like something Zane does better than every Marth is just like double jump fairing onto the platforms to hit people and then land efficiently with it like out of his motion. And I think that like every character benefits from being good at stuff like that because it's just efficiency. Efficiency's good. Love that in bomb. Like that bomb was so sneaky.
Yeah, I like to do it to catch your shield drop sometimes. Then down tilt here.
So here's my question.
Yeah.
If he's gonna hold in on the nair that's obviously coming, why don't we just fair him and then forward smash him and win the game?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'm not thinking of that. I'm thinking of the option I always do after down tilt, which is nair. So I have to think a little more proactively and think like a little more ahead rather than just be so reactionary. Okay, I got you. Because yes, you're right. He has no reason to not hold in on that nair. You're absolutely right. So you're right. A fair F smash would have worked 10 times better there. I fully agree.
Yeah, like, and the cool thing is that this is the type of conditioning that actually usually, like, comes pretty easily, because, like, if you go for, like, the nair, like, at this trajectory with this percent, like, you've also represented, so, like, yeah, fair F smash is, like, the play here, like, fair F smash, something like that, but the thing I want to point out is, because you've gone for nair so many times in this position, like, against this player, like, him specifically, the conditioning is already set up for this to work. Like, this is going to work because every other play that came before it indicates that, like, is suggesting to him that there's only one way to DI versus the Samus's pop-up, and it is in. So you actually have, like, the reason why these, like, DI in or out, like, mix-ups tend to work is because whichever one that you're biased for is already kind of, like, being conditioned for naturally by your gameplay, so you just have to do the other one. Like, you just have to do it.
Okay.
And let's
Sounds good, okay.
Let's just finish this game.
Sorry, better Samus probably would have turned around back air there, but yeah, that was an awful Edgeguard into a really lucky stock, and I think I win the game just... Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay, so to be fair, it's not so much... I would say, like, it's not so much the Edgeguard is awful, it's just that, like, you're in a position... Because of how you sent him off without the extra knockback, and you sent him off high in center stage, like, you just didn't have a good setup for the Edgeguard. So honestly, like, this could even be a case of, like, does it make sense to charge the beam or something? Like, I don't think you do it here, but, like, if the Edgeguard's, like, really that unattainable, sometimes it might not be bad to just, like, hit them off, charge the beam a little bit while they're coming back, and then just still go for this gamble. Because if you can't, like, hit them anyway during this travel time, you know, why not build that resource?
Oh, interesting. So, like, yeah, just accept sometimes that you're not gonna get it and just treat it like a puff and just do something else while they're coming back, kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I'll try to cover options that I know in my head won't work, but I'll just try to cover anyway, just so they don't grab the ledge or something, you know?
Yeah.
But
well, what I'd say is, remember, there's 42 frames or 43 frames of startup time before Fox and Falco move. So what I'm just saying is, like, maybe if the Edgeguard's difficult anyway, maybe use some of that to, like, charge the beam, and then if it's going to be a difficult Edgeguard, and then still go for, like, this tilt later when they start moving.
I see. Okay. Amazing. Great.
I think that's all I can do because somebody is coming over for practice. But
Yeah,
good
no
luck at
problem, of
Gommel,
course.
and
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. I gotta fight Lucky, so I find you know, hopefully this lesson and hopefully my positioning helps me out because I find I don't say I have a good shot, but who knows? It's Lucky and it's I'm pretty good versus Fox, so who knows?
all right, sounds good. I'll talk to you later, Andres. But this was great, and yeah, I'll see you. I'll see you around. Hopefully on the
Yes.
weekend.
Yeah, for sure, buddy. See you next weekend, man. Thanks so much for your time again, buddy.
No problem. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye, buddy.